Hello, everybody. This is Takedown Wrestling. I'm Tony Hager, and I'm sitting here with Fredy Stroker in the Nike hot seat. How we doing, Fredy?
Not doing too bad. How about yourself, Tony?
Good, man. Well, you're supporting Nike, supporting the Gophers there.
Yeah.
Are you excited to be able to wrestle for a school sponsored by Nike? That's pretty cool.
Oh, definitely. Nike's kind of like the superior sportswear. I mean, they got some rivals like Adidas and Asics and stuff, but they make some pretty good gear. So I'm hoping to get spoiled up there with some workout training stuff after a few years of wrestling up there. So I'm excited.
They send you those new freaks yet, or what?
I had to buy them out at NCA's, but yeah, I got a pair of them. I've had a pair. I had a pair when I was younger too, and they kind of were, like out at Fargo, you go to sell and trade shoes and stuff. I had a pair of navy blue ones, so now I got my own. So it should be good.
Well, you've been wrestling. When did you start wrestling, Fredy?
Oh, back when I was 7 years old, I started wrestling in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So kind of it's been a while.
So Virginia to PA.
Yep. So I started. Let's see, I was in preschool to third grade in Virginia, and then fourth grade to eighth grade in PA, and then obviously ninth to 12th in Iowa. So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about your upcoming bout here with Michael Kemmer, and you are no stranger to him. You actually last person to beat him, if I'm not mistaken, and you grew up wrestling him. What's this experience like for you to not only get another shot at him and to wrestle somebody that you grew up wrestling?
It's pretty cool. I mean, we've wrestled twice already. 2 years ago out at PA for Flo's who's number one, and then out at Fargo last year. And we kind of grew up when we were always around the same weight, and we actually never met up when we were younger. So those two times were the first two times that we ever wrestled a match. And I'm pretty excited. I've been able to wrestle in a lot of all-star events such as Dapper Dan and also the Border Wars down in Missouri. So I'm just looking to go out and compete and have some fun and put on a show for the crowd.
And you've been all over the place already since you just picked up your third state title, four-time finalist for Bettendorf, Iowa. And wrestling these all-star events, it just seems like you get invited to all of them and you just say yes. Has there ever been a match that you've turned down?
I don't think so. I mean, I've been able to wrestle in a few all-star events, and there's not really too many times where you can say no, but I guess I didn't wrestle in the North-South all-star duel, but there was kind of some conflicting dates and stuff with training, and I've just been really focusing on this match for a while now, and I'm pretty excited.
Well, both matches that you've wrestled, Cameron, have been a freestyle format. Who's number one? Was that like a
It was a folk style. It was just normal
that
folk.
was a folk style one?
Yeah,
Okay,
just 3 periods, 2 minutes each, and then the most recent one was freestyle. Yeah,
and you beat him 4-3,
yeah,
and you had a real good chance of getting in on a single right away and scoring, and it really came down to a last second score to
yeah.
beat him at Fargo. Going back to that match, what do you have to do differently to make it or widen the gap so you don't have to rely on a last second throw or score to beat him?
Um, yeah, I mean, I actually just watched the match yesterday, and there's a lot of things that I felt like I've improved on since then. Is the match was a kind of a long time ago, but the same way, he's improved on a lot of things as well. And I just he has a pretty good shot, and I just need to be able to down block faster. But the best defense is offense, so I got a pretty good shot as well. So just to get to his legs quick and finish quick, you don't want to be hanging around down there, especially on freestyle when you can get little bump overs and kind of those cheap points there. So just get to my attacks quick and often, and kind of get a few takedowns. But I know it's going to be a most likely be a close match. So turns are really important as well. If you can get a takedown to a turn, turn 2 points into four. So, just little things here and there throughout the match is going to really decide who comes out on top.
And I know that you've been working out with Max Thompson, or at least you were before prior to the Dapper and the Missouri Border Brawl. Who
Yeah.
else have you been working with to prepare for this matchup?
Recently I went up to Minnesota actually. Thursday I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So senior schedule, it's a little bit easier to miss classes and still kind of stay on top of things. And I just went up there and trained a lot with the Minnesota Storm. Coach Lawrence, he runs a club called Pinnacle up there, and I was training with two high school kids, Griffin Perriott and also Brady Berge. They're both pretty tough, and also training a lot with Dave Thorne. The middle Thorne, I guess. He's the one that graduated last year, was All American twice for Minnesota at 25 and 33, and his younger brother Tommy. I was up there for that weekend, and then I've been wrestling a lot with Tyler Clark, he was a Cyclone turned into a Hawkeye for a little bit. He never really cracked the lineup. He was behind Ramos and stuff, but they always battled a lot too. He's really tough, and that's who I've been working out here recently throughout the week out at Bettendorf High School. Actually, I've actually got to work out with him here in a few hours. So yeah, I've been it's been a little bit of shift from folk style to freestyle, but there's not really too much of a change. Just kind of the mat wrestling obviously is different, but for the most part on the neutral position, it's the same thing, except you just got to watch for exposing your back and getting little exposures on things that you wouldn't normally get points for in folk style, just with the 90-point exposure. So yeah, I've been training a lot, definitely training a lot more now than what I was after season for Dapper Dan. Yeah, I just kind of took a week off after the season, and just kind of, I don't want to say like lackadaisical, but just kind of training here and there, just in spurts, and was definitely out of shape for both my matches, both the Dapper Dan and the Border Brawl. So, I'm looking to feel better here come Friday and give a pretty good performance.
Well, you took a little time off and you're able to watch the action in St. Louis. You competed on Tuesday and then you got to watch the action.
Mhm.
What was it like? You've probably watched numerous NCAA championships. What was it like now, knowing that you are going to be a Gopher next year, sitting in those stands and watching your future teammates compete and coach?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just the older you get, the more people that wrestling in the tournament. And the big thing that kind of stood out to me is were some of the freshmen that were making a large impact in several weight classes. I mean, the first that comes to mind is Martinez. He was a redshirt freshman, and then a guy like Zeke Moisey, who true freshman. I remember just watching him last year at the Dapper Dan, and it just got me really thinking about I could be there in the lineup next year, even within 2 years or even next year. So it's just really got me thinking about how I need to live my life and live my lifestyle if I want to be on the top of the podium. And I'm just I'm kind of looking just kind of looking forward, and it's time's going to go by fast. I mean, next year, around this time I could have already wrestled my first NCAA tournament. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of a change going into college, but I'm excited for it and excited to wrestle at the next level.
This is a huge class that you're being a part of. What other the people that don't know who else is committed to Minnesota, touch on those other wrestlers that are coming in Minnesota with you?
Yeah, another wrestler that's going is Bobby Steveson. He's in my grade. He's a upper weight. I think he'll probably be 84 or 97 pounder. He's pretty tough. He's ranked second in the country. He's pretty athletic for how big he is. He's strong and positional. And also Larry Early, who's around my weight, but we actually wrestled at the same weight. He was 145, but he was definitely a 52 pounder or even a 60 pounder during the season. But he had to cut down to 45 for the team. OPRF obviously being depending on the poll, number one or number two ranked high school team in the country. So he battled injuries
I'm
too.
bummed that match didn't happen at the Clash.
Yeah, it was his first time back. Actually, the first tournament back for him. He was off an shoulder injury and his first time down to weight. So I mean, I kind of figured that he wasn't going to really try and try and wrestle just on a bum shoulder and stuff. But I'm sure we'll get a tons of battles up there. But up in Minnesota. But we're looking. I could be a 49-57, and then we could even bump up to 57-65, depending on where they need us at. But I feel like in the next coming years, when I'm a little bit older and stuff, and we'll kind of fill in with some younger guys like Mitch McKee, who's the grade below me, and hopefully Mark Hall as well. We could really have a solid lineup to contend for an NCAA title. So I'm pretty excited. Minnesota is a great place to be, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Well, I'm going to back up a little bit because I heard
All
you
right.
say Mark Hall.
Yeah.
Got any inside information on his commitment here? Did you just spill the
Um.
beans, or you just it's just kind of talk?
No. No. I mean, he's. I mean, obviously being from Minnesota, he's interested, and I'm sure there's. I haven't really talked to him too much about college, but I know there's still several more colleges on his list, Minnesota being one of them. But I'd love for him to be a Gopher, and I'm sure Bobby up there, they go to the same high school, is probably
Chirping his
crushing him
ear.
in a little bit too. But yeah, you never know. I mean, you never know where kids are gonna go these days. It might be somewhere else. I mean, I got a lot of people not confused, but just kind of, or not shocked either, but just like, oh, Minnesota, I would have never thought. And you can never really count out any colleges and stuff for anyone. And yeah, I mean, if he could, he's definitely a guy that could go in there and true freshman, or just go in there and have an immediate impact into a school and stuff. And he's a great wrestler and a pretty good friend, and I'd love to see him at Minnesota, but
I
I
think
wish him the best wherever he goes.
I mean, that's a perfect example. You are. I mean, you said no one thought you were going to go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Your dad texted me and said you're going to be surprised where he's going. And
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, we talked, and you just felt like it was right. It doesn't matter what other people think, and you
Mhm.
obviously went to all the colleges that you possibly could, and the visits, and you thought J Rob would be the place to be, and you're seeing
Yeah.
probably the reason why you're going there. J Rob does produce and gets kids on the stand.
Yeah.
And what I think is interesting is you just said, I can make an impact next year.
Yeah.
Is there talk that you could possibly, I mean, if you talked with the coaches, that you're not going to,
Um,
go through a red shirt?
no, I mean, I haven't really talked to any of the coaches, but I'm just kind of seeing how, a kid like Ethan Lezak, who started at 125 in the second half, there was some injuries at 125 for the Gophers, and he ended up being the guy at later in the season in Big Tens, and he didn't get on the stand. He made it to the round of 16 at the NCAA tournament, went 2-2, but he's a kid that could definitely develop into being on the stand or even an NCAA champ here in the next few years. And you never really know with injuries and stuff. And if I could get in there at 49 or 57, and if the coaches think I'm ready, and I think I'm ready as well to go compete for a NCAA title next year, then I'm ready to go, and not necessarily redshirt and save it for later. And a guy like Logan Storley, he never redshirted throughout his whole entire college career, and he ended up being a four-time All-American, which was pretty cool. But Minnesota tends to redshirt their freshmen, so there hasn't been any talk about it. But I mean, if they think I'm ready to go and I'm ready to go, then I'm ready to go, I guess. So
Yeah, well, I'm sure Gopher fans are happy to hear that, knowing
yeah.
that you're ready to pull the trigger if they call your name, and that shows your character, because that's what you've always done. Someone says, "Hey, let's go wrestle here, or train here," and
Mhm.
you just have done it for whatever reasons. You're just not scared
Yeah.
to back down, and that's why I think people keep asking you to be a part of these all-star events.
Mhm.
And going back to Agon again, we're here with Fredy Stroker, top recruit going to Minnesota, up against number one Michael Kemmer, a Hawkeye recruit who has had a lot of success here in the off season. He's defeated number 5, number 4, number 3, and
Mhm.
going against now number 2 Fredy Stroker. And we're here with him in the Nike hot seat talking about it. And this is one of the highlight bouts for a lot of Iowa people, because you're the only high school guy from Iowa at Agon.
Yeah.
With all the all-star events that you've been a part of, what's it feel like to be a part of this big event, pay-per-view,
Oh,
in Cedar Rapids?
oh, it's definitely awesome. I mean, it's kind of it's gonna be pretty cool just wrestling in that type of atmosphere. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of fans there, and definitely with the matchups that are coming up. I've been able to wrestle on a lot of these high school matchups, and then they've had like one one or two senior matches, or like guys that are already graduated from college wrestle. And this one, there's I think there's 5 matches now that are post grad guys, and it's gonna be awesome. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of fans there. Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo and Ramos, a lot of few past Hawkeye fans. I mean Hawkeye wrestlers. Aaron Pico and Metcalf. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. I
Guys that
can't
you,
wait
I
to
mean,
wrestle and stuff.
these are
Yeah,
these are guys that you've been, looking up to and
yeah,
watching and trying to figure out your style, and I'm sure modeling after some of these guys because a
yeah.
lot of them are, world team members, multiple time All Americans. What matchup are you most excited for?
I'm kind of excited for I'd probably say the Pico Metcalf match. I mean, I wrestled both of them in the summer and stuff, and I've watched Pico wrestle in some senior competitions, and I've seen a lot of improvement from when I wrestled him back in June and July. So, I'm pretty excited to see if he can if he can do some damage and kind of give a good match. But it's gonna be tough. I mean, I'm sure Metcalf is Metcalf's been training obviously for the world team and stuff in 2016, so it's gonna be interesting, and definitely to see if Henry Cejudo, he's been fighting a lot lately, so see if he's still got the wrestler in him. And I'm really excited. McDonough too is wrestling Escobedo. Who else is wrestling? There's those 3 matches.
You got Ketty and Win, and then
Ken, and then
Welch's
what?
Grapevine versus Derek St. John.
Yep. Oh yeah, that would be a good one too, man. Welch is pretty funky, and yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome. I mean, I'm gonna be one of the earlier matches, so I'll be able to wrestle and then kind of sit back, hopefully with after getting a win, and then just kind of watching the rest of the matches, and
Oh,
hopefully after wrestling I'll get a pretty decent seat up front or something. I don't know, but yeah.
well, this event has never come to Iowa. Nothing has been done like this in Iowa before, and you're part of it, Fredy Stroker. And fans, if you want to get there live, you can go to agonwc.com or buy the pay-per-view, which is only $4.95. You can actually watch the event for 7 days after at tmwc1.com. Fredy, thank you. You've been in the Nike
Yeah.
hot seat. Where can fans find you online on Twitter?
They can find me at iawrestle.com, or they can find me at the FSIII on Twitter. So
Sounds good. Again, we
yeah,
were Fredy Stroker's the last person to beat Michael Kemmer. Should be a great bout. He's number 2. Michael's number 1. We'll see you Friday for this big high school bout. Thanks, Fredy.
thank you. Thanks.